Greetings, brothers and sisters. Christy Krause here with Children Are Important. We're looking at video number 2 for obstacle courses for children's ministry. All right, just to start off the obstacle course with the children, what they did in Guatemala was they played some games first off for icebreakers, or basically to get to know each other. You can play name games or just running games, but as a whole group before you split into the small groups to do the stations. So I'm going to show you a couple of the games they did that I think would work for us internationally. The first game was an activity where they did sort of a rhyming chant where they're clapping their hands and singing sort of a song. And then they did one body part at a time. They start with one finger, then the other finger. Then they did one elbow, the other elbow, then one knee, the other knee. They touched the ground with one item, and then they threw it up in the air. And I'll have a video here that I can play for you for an example.
Esa parte que yo mencione, la vamos a poner en el suelo, ¿sí? El baile es un baile, que lo baile, que lo baile. El baile es un baile, que lo baile, que lo baile. Un bebé. Arriba, Messi. Arriba, Messi. El baile.
So here's an idea for one way to translate the song. It basically said nothing, but it rhymed. So here's one way. Let's go do this show. We can do it, this I know. It's pretty simple, but the idea would be to have it all rhyme. In this case, since I chose let's go, so I'm going to need to use the sound O for all the body parts. They use the word baile, so everything ended in an E. So then for finger, which would be dead O, which normally ends in an O, they said dede. So it changed the word from what it originally was, but then it rhymes with the song they were singing. And it added a little bit of funny. So you're going to want to kind of write your own little song. Make sure that none of the words become like bad words. For example, instead of saying one finger, when everyone puts up one finger and then has to touch the ground with it, you would say one fingo. So you want to make sure it's not a bad word, right, in your country. Let's go do the show. We can do it, this I know. One fingo. And everybody has to repeat, one fingo. They touched the ground. When they said, arriba me se, again, it didn't make sense at the ending there. It was just throwing an E on the end of, let's throw it in the air. So I put in the air, O. Again, doesn't make much sense. So you'd go, one fingo, and everybody repeats, one fingo. And they have to touch the ground with it. And then, in the air, O. And everybody says, in the air, O. Start it again. Let's go, let's do this show. We can do it, this I know. One fingo, another fingo, another fingo. In the air, oh, in the air, oh. Let's go do like this. Just go ahead and do it in your language and make a little quick song ahead of time. Doesn't have to be fabulous. The idea was to kind of warm up with a game with all the students before you start the obstacle course. So have fun with this, and I'll go ahead and play the whole video for you so you can get a feel. And then write your own little song, or do this one I did for you in English. Just make sure you're not saying any bad words. And you're good to go for an opening warm-up activity. So we said one and the other finger, and then they go up in the sky. So whatever body part he mentions, they have to shout or repeat it, and then they throw it up into the sky. Okay, so they're touching the ground with whatever body part. So they touch it with a finger, the other finger, and then the elbow. All the way down to the stomach, had to touch the ground. Okay, so you're going to do a couple other activities. They did 2 more, but I didn't think they would work internationally. So you choose something that's going to work for you, maybe a name game or something, or a game you normally play. Okay, for the upcoming obstacle course, they wanted to split into teams, and so that there wasn't any cliques or little groups of favorite friends. So they played a game to divide into smaller groups. Now to make it fun, your boat is sinking and the captain has lifeboats for you that'll only hold 3. And then everyone had to run into groups of 3. And you can see here in the video. And they said, hey, your boat's sinking. The captain has lifeboats for groups of 5. And then we ran into groups of 5.
El capitán quiere grupos de 2. Muy bien.
Okay, so it says the boat's about to sink and the captain wants groups of 4. They planned ahead of time how many they wanted in each group for the obstacle course and had that be the final one. So you do groups of 2, groups of 10, groups of 6, groups of 3, and then if in the end you want groups of 5 for the obstacle course, that's the last number you give. So that at the end of this game, you're divided into groups of 5. Then they did a tag game where you pull ribbons off the side of people. So let me show you the clip of the game.
No te salga, no te salga, no te salga, no te salga. Solo el recuadro, solo el recuadro, solo el recuadro. Solo el recuadro.
Now, basically, it was just a plastic kind of ribbon, and they bought those little rings to be able to tie it around the waist. Then the plastic ribbon, or you could use just a simple ribbon, honestly, it doesn't matter. Then they had a little bit of Velcro so it would easily pull off and reattach. You can see the video here where I show it to you. Okay, so we're putting on these little waist things, and honestly, this is like a plastic ribbon with some Velcro on it, so that people can rip the Velcro off. So they've just got the tape slide over there. You can make these just as simple, and then he's telling everybody to put the ribbons on the side, not on the back or the front or the front. So there's your instructions. And the idea then is they broke into teams with the colors, and you're trying to remove as many ribbons as you can from the sides of the other team members. So you're just going to run around trying to rip off the ribbons off the sides of other team members. Then when we finished, they stopped and counted how many ribbons people had. So the first time they did, how many can you get from other team members, and they didn't count how many did you lose. So they just counted, hold up ones that you got, and they counted them, and the team color with the most ribbons of other teams won. Second time, it was how many can you protect. So you ran around and you're just pulling on, but they didn't count how many ribbons you had in your hands. It counted how many you had left on your team, and that team won. And then the third time, it was both how many ribbons can you grab and how many do you have left over, and that team won. So we played it 3 times. Then that was a fun activity. Okay, so that was your warm-up activities. They just started with some fun chanting, singing games, followed by breaking us up into teams, then the ribbons and pulling off the ribbons from the teams that helped us label we're the blue team. On that one, they had us come up with a name, so we came up with a name for our team that related to the color we were given. And then when we finished that game, they gave us the instructions for the obstacle course, and so we still had our team and we had our team colors. Then they blew the whistle, and off we went running into the different stations, each team, see who could win the obstacle course. All right, we'll see you in tomorrow's video to start looking at the different stations. Hope you have fun with these obstacle courses with your children's ministry.